Hello. Hola. Buenos dias. Good morning. I hope everyone had a good weekend. I know I did. Again, I'm doing a Facebook Live at the same time as doing my YouTube channel, which is Real Talk for an Unreal World. Basically, just an experience, a journey that hasn't got arrived at the destination, but it's my journey, and I'm just sharing it. Because I think that sharing is experiences is real. And I believe in this world, instead of dividing and judging each other for things that we've done, maybe we can share and grow and learn from each other. So that's why I'm doing what I do, and I don't mind doing it. It was difficult, but it has become almost therapeutic, I would say, to be honest with you. I usually just start by saying I had a good weekend. It's Monday. I know a lot of people be hating on Mondays. I was one of them for a long time. I was a hater of Mondays. I was a hater of many days. My journey helped me to learn difficult lessons with addiction, heroin addiction for 20 years. All the addictions. I mean, with drugs, I did them all for sure. But heroin was the one that held me close for a long time. And I've done a few videos on my Real Talk for an Unreal World channel on YouTube. And a lot of people ask me, actually, a lot of people on Facebook really reach to me. And I really appreciate that, by the way, commenting and liking and sharing the videos. I mean, 100%. I really, truly means the world to me. Anybody who's getting this out there. I really don't care about being popular or, I just think with all the content on the internet, there's so much garbage out there. I think that real things are what I live for, and if you're someone who don't like fake and the world that we live in with this awkward judgment on everything, you're not going to find that here. I'm just real. And I'm cool with it, and I'm cool with the things I've done because they've taught me difficult lessons, which has brought me to the light. So I'm cool with sharing that. With that, I struggled with addiction for a long time. So a lot of people reached out to me and they asked me, how you do it. Like, what was the thing that you did to overcome a heavy dose of reality for a long time? Something, I'll say this. Anything you practice, you get good at, right? So I think we can agree on that. So practicing being a drug addict, for me, anything I practice, I get good at. But since I was practicing that and I was learning about psychology within individuals with mental health and addiction and prison and things like this, I got real good at it, I got real good at it. You can get real good at painting. You can get real good at doing art, whatever you want. You can be real good at being mean if you're mean, if that's your thing. I know a couple individuals that are masters of it because that's what they practice every single day. So for me, I was practicing learning about addiction, mental health, and difficult places like prison. And I got real good at it. So what happened for me to come out of it with such conviction is I made a choice. And I'm doing my YouTube channel in black and white because I thought it was fitting for this episode when I'm talking about addiction and talking about recovery and what I did to overcome it. I made a choice. Like, legit. 20 years of hell, by the way, taught me that learning difficult lessons, but I'll just arrive to it. I made a choice. I had no longer wanted to live in hell on this earth. I think really what happened was I learned a lesson. So when I say I made a choice, it's because the lesson was learned. I mean, I went to rehab many, many times. I went to rehab many times in my life. I also had a place of serenity, which was my cottage. I'm from Ontario, but Toronto, to be exact, well, in and around Toronto, by Kitchener, small town boy, really. But we had a cottage up north, which I was very fortunate for. And my parents more than often let me breathe when I needed to breathe. And by that, I mean, go up there, withdraw, and try and get myself back to where I could be. And almost instantaneously when I was released back into the world at my own free will, the lesson had not been learned, so I repeated it. Because obviously I was cool with the addiction. It's not, sorry, I shouldn't say I wasn't cool with it. It's just I didn't understand it yet. I really didn't understand why I did what I did. I say that I've learned the lesson because I asked myself difficult questions. Once you lose everything, you seriously have to be okay with what you're left with. And when I say I lost everything, I don't give a shit about materialistic things. Never have, never. I don't think I ever will, to be honest with you. I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoy snowboarding and dirt biking and skateboarding and but I'm cool with like singing and dancing and swimming. Going for hikes. I'm totally cool with that. I always have been because that's real to me. It doesn't cost anything. Life's free. Really, if you break it down, materialistic shit is just there to hold you back. So I lost that, all the materialistic things for sure. But the most difficult loss for me was love. 3 of them. My kids. So once I lost my kids, I have 2 kids with 1 girl and 1 kid with another girl. I really didn't have a whole bunch of relationships. I had 2 7-year relationships, so 2 girls went through hell with me, and I obviously lost them as well. But when you lose love, I believe, I don't know if it means something to you, love, you really start to process and you really start to assess things. I also lost love in my family, because my family, not that they ever stopped loving me, but they stopped answering the phone. And when you're in a place of addiction and complete dark and complete, loneliness, when people don't answer the phone for you, you start to check things, right? So, being in prison by myself and having to think about all these things and, withdrawing in prison is no joke. I can promise you that. You learn some things. So I was also given a gift of clarity and awareness when I was there. I really was, because for me the lesson was learned, and I found that through love within myself. And I realized that I was always raised to be a good kid. Like I had I'm a privileged Canadian kid, and I say privileged in the sense that we're free here and we've never really had the shortcomings that people from other countries have. So yeah, I had a cottage, I had a snowmobile and a dirt bike when I was very young. I had a snowboard membership at 10. I had everything that any kid could want. I had the love of 2 parents that'll do absolutely anything for me until I was 37, and I'm 37, so they still be doing things for me. I just love now, though. No more financial help, I can promise you that. But yeah, like I was very fortunate to have that and to have a place to breathe when I needed to breathe, so I could become clear again and then head out and try and figure out my journey again, which I didn't figure out. But I was very fortunate to have those things. And when I lost everything and I was left with myself, I was, given this gift of awareness and awareness in myself, finding love within myself, forgiveness within myself, and truth within myself. Gave me perspective, and I was able to see from both sides. And trust me, I guess I should say, like, my journey was not easy. Like, it wasn't like, I was functioning until I wasn't. That's the truth. I was always a really good dad. I mean, sometimes I was a pretty good boyfriend. I cared. I obviously care. I'm a Scorpio. I cared about everyone else, so I didn't have to focus on myself. That's why I did it, because I was cool with hurting myself because I didn't understand myself. But I'll say this as well. My reason for doing drugs was emotions. I didn't understand what it was to be an empath. I don't really like labels, but I am only using it because it's there to define things, right? So it's just an actuality in my life. Like I just feel, I always thought everyone felt the same way, but it's not really true. I feel things like to my core, like deep, like it's sort of hard to describe, but I'll try. I mean, I guess like I can feel people I don't know. And that's just an outward thing. An inward thing when it comes to me and dealing with my own emotions, heavy. Like if I get sad, I'm sad. Like it's something that weighs me down, like, or, upset. So I would cry if I was happy. I would cry if I was sad, and I would cry if I was frustrated or mad. Or all my emotions seem to revolve around tears. I'm a water sign as well, Scorpio. So, that has a lot to do with it as well. It's an emotional thing. I'm Taurus moon, which dictates my emotions. If you don't know about astrology or your sign, I suggest, if you want to learn something today, which is great, and learn something about yourself, maybe check out what your zodiac sign is, and not a horoscope. Google what it means to be a Pisces or a Taurus or a Virgo, Scorpio, whatever, just Google your sign, learn something about yourself today. But for me, emotions were real heavy, and I realized it when I was very young. I was always very aware, very young, and I didn't understand. In my family, crying was, it wasn't really that everyone else thought it as a weakness. It's just something we didn't do. So, and not to mention, we live in North America, where we're taught not to talk about emotions, and we're taught not to share about emotions, which is absolutely insane. Because for me, it held me back. It really held me back, because I really couldn't talk to anyone about it, and I felt that if I showed it, it was weak. So I started using drugs very young, and I found that numbed it, and it put it away, it buried it, right? So I was able to figure that out 20 years later, but it's okay, because I figured it out. I'm cool with it. But certainly that was the reason for practicing drug use and addiction. I was never really a bad guy, to be honest with you. I mean, to my loved, you always hurt the ones you love. So I certainly, definitely, my family suffered, my girlfriend suffered, and unfortunately my kids suffered from it. So that's very unfortunate. But to the outside world, I really didn't rob people or, steal credit cards and this kind of thing. I wasn't into that. I just hurt myself when I did it. I functioned with a job for many, many, many years, had a couple companies even, like, it was wild for a while. But I made it work, As crazy as that is, you totally can. And I chose heroin because I was able to function on it. For me, it made me a little sleepy, but at times more sleepy than I wanted to be. But I could certainly push through the day, and that's why I chose it. And I mean, if you are judging on this, I don't know. Maybe some people are like, "Oh my God, he did heroin." It's like, well, so did Kurt Cobain, so did Janis Joplin, so did friggin' Keith Richards. He's still here, he's still cool. All these people are cool. And they used it for whatever reason they needed to use it for. But we certainly still love them for what they are and what they do. They're artists, and I believe I'm an artist as well. I'm just creating in a different way. So, it's all relative, and it's cool. It's, it wasn't cool when I was doing it, but it's cool to understand it. And I think that if you're looking for a way out, maybe understand things. Ask yourself difficult questions. Like, if you're stuck or you're trapped or a loved one is, ask some difficult questions, or get them to, or ask yourself difficult questions. Really, if you're struggling with a loved one who's an addict, all you can do is love them. You're not going to fix them. Many people ask me that, like, my boyfriend's this, my girlfriend, my husband this, my wife. You can't fix it. They're the only ones who can fix it. And I'm just going to be real with you. For 20 years, my mother gave, and my dad, my father as well, gave everything they had. My whole family, never mind, my grandma and grandpa, everybody gave everything they had to fix us, because they thought it was their fault, which is rightly so. I mean, I'm a parent, and as a parent, you just want to do the best you can for your children. The unfortunate aspect is it's their journey. And I think if you're a parent, maybe that's, aside from addiction, remember, your children are just on their own journey. You're there as a guide. Like this helicopter parenting thing where a child can't fall down and a child can't make mistakes. Stop doing that. I mean, I never tell people what to do, but goddamn, like, your child is on a journey. It's here to learn and grow. Making mistakes is the only way you learn. So if you're constantly covering for them, how the hell are they going to make any mistakes? And how are they, what are they going to learn? Like, are you going to change their underwear till they're 20? I mean, I've seen family members in my family do that for other members, and they're totally screwed today. Mental health is a big problem within that. But there's a lot going on that they can't overcome because there was too much parenting and not enough guidance. And I think that's a real thing we should talk about. Just if you got kids, regardless of their age. I mean, my parents are still parents to me at 37. And I think we have we're very open now. We talk about everything. We talk about emotions. We talk about everything because it all works together. We all help each other now, which is just a beautiful thing. We're able to have very difficult conversations that these days help us all grow. I mean, my dad's 63 or 7 or something like that, and him and I have, he struggled with emotions and he struggles with mental health, and we have very real conversations these days. And it's wonderful. It's absolutely amazing for me to be real with my dad and say, hey man, like, we had a situation in the summer. I'll share this because he's cool. He got angry at the dog. The dog was old already, and it was him not able to control his emotions. And so he took it out on the dog, and the dog was small and old. And unfortunately, the next day, the dog died. And my dad, I knew he was sitting beside me feeling guilty and not saying nothing, because this is what he does. He buries. Many do, not just my dad. I'm not just singling my dad out, but I'm just saying many people do bury things. And I could see that he was doing that. So I said, Dad, like, I'm sitting over here looking at you, and I know you're holding that death on your chest right now because of what you did. And I explained to him, like, if you don't control your emotions, we're left with the consequences. And emotions are everything, And I think let's have that conversation. Like, all the choices you make in life, what arrives back to you that's real, that's eternal, is emotions. So anything you do in the physical world internally will transmute as emotions. And that's what's real because it affects us. We can feel it, So when you're out in the world and you're making choices, remember, they're going to affect you. So if you're mean to someone, you're going to hold that. Whether you hold that in a proper, real way with truth, or you break it off and brush it off that it was the other person, it changes who you be. So him and I had that conversation, and he was grateful that I said it. My mother even was sitting there too, like, holy shit, I can't believe you just said that to him. But it was like, no, I don't do this no more, where we're quiet about things. I don't do that. And maybe that's a wonderful thing to share. If you're in a home where sharing emotions and that something could be said or should be said, but you're worried about the reaction from the other individual, plant a seed. Who cares? Put it in the world. The only way to process or to heal emotions is to process things. And sometimes when we speak out loud, whether or not in the moment it's going to cause a disturbance, down the road, everybody heals differently, but maybe you planted a seed to help that person through. If you love an individual, then sometimes saying difficult things is okay because, there will be like an appreciation for it. Maybe not in the moment, but later. I was fortunate that my dad was cool with it in the moment, and he appreciated what I said, and I actually saw him grow through it. And my dad's a wonderful man, don't get me wrong. It's just, we all have moments. That's another thing with parenting. When you're around little ones so much, I can understand and appreciate how it can just be, we need a break. I don't think we're supposed to do anything repeatedly for a lengthy amount of time. I don't believe that that's the way life is supposed to be. Little homes, individualized, with 4 people, 2 parents, 2 children, 1 parent taking care of the children all the time. That's not the way, man. That's just somebody else's idea of how we're supposed to live. I really feel like the natives had it right, many hands to raise a village. Fortunately, my parents couldn't teach me the lessons I need to learn, so I broke away and went out into the world. They were always there for me, but I had, in doing so, on my journey through addiction and just my road, many of my friends, mothers and fathers, because I was a good guy, I was doing bad things, but I was a good guy, they accepted me and they helped me, and I actually have like 4 moms now. One in BC, one in Winnipeg, a couple in Ontario, so I'm really fortunate for that. And I'm sure I'll have a whole bunch more as my road unfolds, because I'm still a child. Like, sure, I'm an adult, but I don't know what that means, to be honest with you. I'm like Peter Pan, and I mean that. I'm a child. I jump off bridges, I swim, I dance, I sing, I hike, ride dirt bikes. I'm a kid, man. I embrace it. I don't give a shit. To be honest with you, anybody who's out there and has a manual for what it means to be an adult, send it to me. Because there ain't one. So remember that. When you're trying to be something that you're not trying to be, like you don't want to be, you're pretending. That's weird. That's weird. Just be yourself. And that's why I'm able to do these videos and shit with a story like I've got. It's heavy. And I understand that. And the world judges. And I understand that as well. But many people don't. And many people are trying to break away from that way of life. So I'm cool with sharing. And if I can help even one person, then I can maybe change the world. And I'm going to change the world. But maybe I'll do that by affecting one person. Because that's all it takes these days. Is to affect one person, and we can change the world. Because I mean, let's face it, this money system that we're living in, mental health is at an all-time high, domestic violence is out of control because we're segregated, individualized, and we're taught not even to say hello in the street in the morning, good morning. I mean, I say good morning in Vancouver, people look at me like I'm from friggin' another planet. I am from another planet, and I'm cool with that, but I mean, while I'm here, it'd be nice if we could, whatever happened to that? My grandmother and my grandfather taught me very well. Just, treat others how you want to be treated. That was my dad's motto forever. So I never really forgot that. I just always tried to be a good guy. And it amazes me how we've arrived at this conclusion in life, that we can see people from other countries or people with other stories as people from another planet. How can you do that? We're human beings, a part of a human race living on planet Earth. We're all the same. The only thing that separates us is money and this idea of being better. How the hell can you be better than somebody that's the same as you? It's the weirdest shit. And when you're walking past those people, homeless people on the street, I want you to remember this. There's no funding for addiction these days. There's no funding for mental health, and the prisons are the new mental health and addiction treatments because the government doesn't want to pay. They don't mind breaking you down as an individual. My own personal journey was just, wasn't traumas. It wasn't mental health passed on or any chemical imbalance. I never had that. Mine was strictly emotional based. But many people in the world break because of fear. That's a reality, because of loneliness, sadness, and fear. Those are the tools to control. And by controlling what that looks like is mental health. And it's very unfortunate. And so that's a reality these days. So if you're out there judging people for how they are, remember, everybody has a story. So you don't know what that could look like. You don't know if that person was, I hate to say this, but raped or maybe sexually abused. Because I can tell you, a lot of the kids up in prison, I've been there, they're not really bad guys. They were sexually abused. They got bad stories, and we all have a story. But a lot of these people got heavy things that society didn't help them deal with. They never processed emotions. So certainly they arrived at the same conclusion I did, that doing drugs buried their mental health to a point where it didn't, and they did bad things. And that put them in a place where there is no rehabilitation. There's no rehabilitation in prison. Prison is a joke. It's a business. And business is good. Because these days, we don't go after criminals that, most of the crime is done in offices, stealing from people. They just pick up people easily on the street, roll through East End. That's what the cops do. It's a joke. Set up cameras on the freaking street because they don't want to actually do the police work. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Tell me, while we're having this conversation about this shit, tell me when the last time you heard about a big fentanyl bust was. Or when's the last time you heard about a real big cocaine bust? Because I can tell you the main drug these days on the street is coke, meth, and fentanyl. We got this much shit going on in the world, and we haven't heard about a big bust in how long? Ask yourself that. That's because these people getting paid off this shit. You know what I mean? It's a big business. Remember, big business, $50 billion a year. $50 billion of untaxed money. You think these people don't want a piece of that? They do. and they get it. So when you see the drug addicts on the street, just low-level kids with emotional problems, those are the kids that are feeding the other kids that have the same problem as them. The real drug dealers of the world are wearing suits and they're working together and they're all getting paid. So it's unfortunate how it works, but that's a reality. And I know it very well because I was a drug dealer for a long time. And I learned about the business, the system, how it works. It's bullshit. I'm not going to go too much into it, but it's just a reality. So, we're living in the same reality. So, I know with all the fear going on in the world, you don't ask yourself these questions. It's easier just to judge, but certainly I hope that you do. And I guess I just wanted to say for my choice, for choosing, the whole reason I did this video was to understand how did I change? I made a choice. It is black and white. You know what I mean? That's why I did the YouTube channel in black and white with this filter, is because when you're trying to make a choice in life, I don't care if it's addiction, whatever it is, changing your job, changing your loved one, whatever it is, it's black and white. Either you do it or you don't. It's that easy. If you're halfway, it's bullshit. It's all or nothing with whatever you do, and that's the truth. That's the absolute truth. I've slipped and fell so many times for 20 years that it taught me lessons about what it means to be half in and half out. And I knew with this one, I've been to hell. I've been there. I have. It's an unfortunate, sad place, lonely place, many souls there. I almost related to Never Never Land, That's a reality. I was just able to get out because I saw the bullshit and I saw the lies that were being told to me. The devil was myself because I was the one telling myself. Hell was planet Earth because that's how I perceived it. But I can very much tell you today, I walked out of hell without any shoes and it was cold as shit and I was alone. But when I came out, I was in the light. And the light felt so good and I knew that I'd finally overcome something that had been lifetimes repeated. But when I overcame it and I made that choice, it's what it means to be full circle. When you live in the dark for so long, you can understand it. You can appreciate it. Maybe my journey of drug addiction and prison and mental health and all this bullshit, east side shit, living on the street, whatever, actually it wasn't so bad for me because what I was doing was so widely unaccepted that it made it so clear for me to change. But many, many people, let's say this, if you wake up in the morning alone, have a soda for breakfast, or some sugary ass cereal or some shit, something's bad for you, you go sit in an office for 8 hours doing something you don't like, come home, eat some shit meal on the way home, McDonald's or whatever, alone, sit in front of the TV for 5-6 hours, do nothing, don't grow, don't learn shit, go to bed, get a half-ass sleep, wake up, repeat. Seems to me that that's quite a dark life as well. All this stress, worry, anxiety, fear, it's one and the same. Just a matter of what your journey is. It's actually incredible to me that we can't see that as being such a detrimental thing to life. I know the detriments in my life were so unacceptable that I could accept it. But the journey that I had just explained with this doing nothing is widely lived in today's reality. And if you ask me, you're not living. And I wasn't really living either because I wasn't growing. So to me, life is all about lessons and it's about growing. So I just hope that you see that and you can feel that and you can do that for yourself because it's a wonderful thing to grow and to live and to learn and to be alive, to really be alive. I was so fortunate this weekend. I went to Whistler. I ride dirt bikes a lot. I ride snowboards a lot. I'm very grateful. I got tons of friends now that I have real friends, real friends. But yeah, I got a beautiful wife. You know what I mean? She's wonderful. I'm so fortunate to share love with someone these days. Because I know my self-worth. I love myself. And so with that, I could share my love. We don't have a give and take. We don't fight. And for the longest time, I couldn't even wrap my head around it because my relationships before were so chaotic because partly I made them mostly chaotic because I was fucked. But certainly these days, it's relationships are so easy. It's so easy. Love is so easy when you love yourself. Because when you love yourself and you have self-respect, someone will see that same self-worth and that same self-respect and respect you for the individual that you are and love you for the individual that you are and not ask you for nothing. Just be there on a journey together to share and learn and grow and support. And that's what we do. And it's such a beautiful thing. And I'm really happy to share that today because she's a dream come true for me. And I had to go through hell to get there, to find it. But I certainly did. And I just love her very much. So I'm really, because I lost love. So yeah, that's a nice thing that I have today. And because I made a choice, I was able to get that. So if you're struggling, make a choice and stick to it with everything you have. If you have years in the game of addiction, the game of making wrong choices, then you have years of lessons and you have years of experience. Now apply it to the lesson, because anything you practice, you get good at, right? So then you understand what you're doing. So if you understand what you're doing, we're all raised to understand right from wrong. So we know, but it's your journey. Own it and love it, because life can be a beautiful thing. Today I live in heaven, and I see it as such. Same place I saw as hell. It's just what you perceive. So can it be done? Absolutely, it can be done. And I just want the best for everyone. I really do, and that's why I do this. God, I just want to instill hope for some. I really don't like to use the word hope because I think it's bullshit. I think that if you just make a choice and live with love, honesty, you'll gain awareness and gain perspective, and you will be enlightened. And from that point on, you will live a wonderful, beautiful life of love. And with love, we can change the world. And I want to do that. And by doing that, I think we need to build a community of like-minded individuals, people that are willing to change the world and change this way of living, and break it back down many hands to raise a village. Hopefully we can come back to that. Have a wonderful day. I appreciate everyone who watched today. If you could share it, like it. I mean, I subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I'm not going to do the Facebook thing for too much longer. Just trying to build a community right now. My main focus is my YouTube channel. YouTube channel is called Real Talk for an Unreal World. If you could subscribe to it, I much appreciate it. I'm going to do many videos on meditation, yoga, self-love, self-care, real shit, I'm just a real guy who went through hell, and I was given some cool insights on life, and I have a lot of experience in doing things, and I have a voice, so I'm going to use it. And a lot of people tell me the things I say are beneficial and helpful, and I love humans. I value people over money. So I'm all about it, and if you could help me bring some attention so we can help some other people, it means the world to me, and I truly mean that. Enjoy your week. I'll probably do another video this week. I'm trying to put out as much content as I can, because I really want this to be beautiful, and I want to do this. This is what I want to do. I want to travel the world, and I want to do this. I want to meet humans. I want to see how they're living. I want to help them. So I think the only way to change the world is to experience it, so I'm trying to do that. And I want to take this with me so we can learn about the world together, because I realize that a lot of people can't travel the world, so I'm going to do it. And I'm going to make it real, because I'm only about real shit. So if you're down with that and you want to see that and you want to help me grow, let's do this thing. You know what I mean? I really appreciate everyone. Much love. Ciao.